Good afternoon. It's March the 21st, 2018. Time to wrap up today and take a look at the overnight session and tomorrow. Hypothetical or simulated performance results have certain limitations. Unlike an actual performance record, simulated results do not represent actual trading. Also, since the trades have not been executed, the results may have under or overcompensated for the impact, if any, of certain market factors such as lack of liquidity. Simulated trading programs in general are also subject to the fact that they're designed with the benefit of hindsight. No representation is being made that any account will or is likely to achieve profit or losses similar to those shown. Well, we came into today wanting to buy 16s to 11s. Took a while, didn't it? And our second sell was 39 to 44. Okay, we're touching the top of our number one. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Number one holds. We should get to number two. That's the area where we're interested in being short. And we had news today. The FOMC interest rate increases are not good for the stock market over time either. And we'll see how it plays in here. We've got the Chinese tariff to be announced at I think tomorrow. And China's already told us that they're going to hurt our agricultural business. The problem with that is that they don't have a lot of places to go to get grains. So we'll see how it works out. If tariffs are a negotiating ploy, the threat of tariffs is one thing. If they're going to do a smoot holly over time, that's another. And we'll just have to wait and see how that plays out. Thank you, Charles. Charles, I appreciate the help in the room, the backup and everything. Makes my job easier. Okay, 2700's the buyer, 2750's the seller right now. That's kind of where the break is, and so it's kind of moving sideways here. Not a lot going on. Higher low, higher high, maybe. Inside day. Not an inside day, but I think we do have a lower low right here, which would give us a neutral day. So that means trade it. And looking at the F2 screen. Definitely leaning B. And here's so this little saddle formation right here says find a place to trade it to. Tomorrow's news, jobless claims 225. I don't think anybody pays any attention to that anymore. FHFA housing index plus 3/10. Don't think anybody will pay any attention to that. PMI composite 55.2. We'll pay a little bit of attention to that, but when the ISM numbers are out with the PMI, nobody pays any attention to the PMI numbers. 55.4 for manufacturing and 55.7 for services. LAI plus 3/10. And don't know what natural gas draw will be. Drew 93 BCF last week, and KC Fed, we don't know what that is, was 17. I guess the PMI composite right here will be where the focus is. And the news tomorrow on tariffs. It has more impact than any of tomorrow's news does. And tariffs have not proven to be good for the stock market when they're announced. But again, the issue, the art of the deal and the rest of it, you can see that Trump comes in and he just says he takes a position that makes him sound like he's almost crazy. But he tends to get what he wants, and the deals are always modified too. So we'll just have to kind of wait and see what happens. Like we're gonna bust NAFTA wide open. We're gonna increase tariffs on Mexico, Canada. That hasn't happened. They've been exempted. So it's hard to say. If the market does not react to the news tomorrow, then we'll get a little bit better feel for that. Right now, if the market would close at 25, right here we'd be selling 29s to 34s, sell 1. 39 to 44, sell 2. On the buy side, we'd be buying 11s to 16s and 1 to 5. My wife has not gotten out of bed well, she was up with the grandchild, but she's went back to bed yesterday, and she's been in bed all day today. I'm going to have to wrap her up against the head for bringing this cold home. Okay, interest rate increase. Not good for treasuries. The market should be sold, but they were afraid there would be 4 interest rate increases in 2018. The Fed's told us it's going to be 3. So that might give us a little relief rally, and you can see right down here they almost tested that low right there, but they didn't quite. So we could actually trade up and out tomorrow. Again, it'll be, we'll have to see how the bond players in Asia do it. You can see we've got a pretty symmetrical profile, but volume has moved lower in the profile, and you can see that generally speaking, because of the single prints up here, it is leaning B. So if London isn't able to take out and hold 2004, we got a pretty good chance that this market trade up a little bit tomorrow. So I think that's the number right there, 04. So we'll sell 3s to 7s. And if the Emini is totally falling out of bed, we're not too interested in being short. I'm going to pick up this place up here, so we'll sell 10s to 14 for sell 2. Pick up this area right here. On the buy side, well, structure says 25 to 29. I'm really leaning short, so I can get long, but 17s to 21s for buy 2. Well, G20 met yesterday, and the United States was not called by anybody for its blustery talk on tariffs or anything else fits. So we'll have to see how that plays out. My guess is that it's more of a bargaining ploy to get the deals rewritten. And one of the articles that came out of Europe last week was that the United States would just match Europe's tariffs on our goodies, which would be very, very easy to sell as fair. So might be a bookkeeping nightmare, but a lot of people like to do that kind of work. Looking at the 30-year, isn't that a beautiful symmetrical profile? Okay, we've rejected prices above 26. We've got this spill or tumble over here, at 144 even. We're at 23, so we'll make 24, 28, 1, sell 31s to 03s, sell 7 to 11, sell 2. And I think to get up and rally it, we've got to get some help from the Emini tomorrow. On the downside down here, 12 to 16 would be the first little band that might hold as support. 5 to 9 by 1. And then 29 to 01 by 2. Fits the English economic numbers are softening. Maybe that much talked about and much economic slowdown that everybody's been screaming since Britain chose Brexit is about to come on the UK. We'll see. Yeah, I love all these guys that sit back and make all these forecasts that, you know, catastrophe is going to come, it's going to happen. And, you know, and eventually we will get a 50% correction, but the issue is always when. And that they never tell you that, like tomorrow. And that's why what we do, I think, is has to be comforting in that sense that we really don't care. We're just interested in the next couple, 3 or 4 days, where this is a revenue generating device. It's not an investment. The tax consequences, we're glad to pay taxes on this stuff because we've actually made some money doing it. So it's a different game. Gold, man, gold really got strong here. I haven't seen anything to explain that, but we'll look. F1 says buy it. Had a nice run. And gold's probably a little closer to the fundamentals than treasuries are because the supply is not there. So 35.37, sell 1. 39.41, sell 2. 25.28, buy 1. And Jim Cramer something. 20.22, buy 2. What is he on? MSNBC? That's another way that Bill Gates keeps the regulators off of his back. He's given the extreme left an outlet at MSNBC where they can get their storylines out, and somebody has to pay for that because it sure as hell doesn't make any money that I can tell. So that's probably cheap for Gates to protect his multi-billion-dollar estate. I'm for higher taxes, just not me. It's all about the money. And that's not what it should be all about. Crude is really, really strong. It's making a run, so we blew through 65, did not stop there. I know the demand is 3% higher than it was last year at this time. Everybody's talking about supply. Still too much supply. Market's not acting that way. So F1 says find a place to buy it. Strong buying yesterday. This morning we extend in D. Why do we extend in D? That's when the news announcement hit. I mean, the numbers were great. And so everything looks really, really good. London, we had a heck of a run today, so maybe in London a 50 to 75 sell, don't know. We'll put it out there. Had a pretty good run in 66, 66 and a quarter. 65, 64, 75 by 1. 64 and a quarter, 64.50 by 2. You know, you might be able to sell that one, Robert, but get him to take a guy off the street and buy him a lunch or a meal. That's a pretty hard sell for that, because there's a government agency out there that's supposed to do that with our tax dollars. So they don't. But you're right. I mean, when you look at when politicians drift through a room, somebody else is supposed to pick up the tab for them. Both sides of the aisle. That's not just the sole province of the left. Because he's such a good guy, right, Jeff? But the euro was really strong today. I guess they did without having that fourth interest rate increase for 2018. All things being relative, could have been worse. Buy euros. That's the only way I could explain it. Big whipsaw on the FOMC. So I keep thinking 125's out there. That's not that far away. So maybe London up here 40 to. We'll try London 40 to 50. We'll put a question mark at 25. Then 70 to 80 for sell 2. If we take out that high right there, probably 125 is the number. I'll put a question mark at 25. And first buy be 124. Second one be 23.75. Okay. Okay, not talking has really helped my voice today. Hopefully that'll pay off for us tomorrow. And I will see you bright and early in the morning. Y'all have a great evening.